What's good, people? In the last video, we added the solution structure to our Blazor project. In this video, we're going to add the backend, so the front end has something to communicate with. So welcome to Blazor in the Terminal, part 2, the backend. So at first we need to extend the project structure, right? We need to add a web API, and we do this by .NET new web API, and we go by minimal API right here. It just has less overhead and less abstractions and no controllers. And we go by the name Blazor Demo Backend API. Remember, before we had Blazor Demo Frontend, etc., and now we have Backend. Well, there we go. The next step is, in order to communicate with the backend, we need another class lib. And this goes by the name frontend shared infrastructure. And this class lib is not a Razor class lib, it's a normal class lib. And it contains the typed HTTP clients necessary to communicate with this API right here. And as before, we had front end shared, and now we have infrastructure. And I like to call these kind of libraries infrastructure. You can also call it communication, connections, whatever you like. Next step is we need to make the Blazor server and the UI use those infrastructure HTTP clients, and therefore we have to put in the reference for that. So we go by .NET reference add, and remember, we put a reference to Blazor server frontend shared infrastructure, etc., into our UI project. And we do the same for the server project, and there we have our references. And of course, since we added 2 new projects, we need to update our solution, of course, right? So we do .NET, SLN, add, etc., etc. Look for all the CS proj files, as we did in the last video. And boom, there we go. Now we can see if everything works so far with .NET restore. And we do .NET build. And everything looks fine so far. So now we actually want to use this shared infrastructure in Blazor, and what we're going to do is we're going to open nvim, and we go into the infrastructure project, and going to create a file that goes by the name typed HTTP clients in this directory, http weather client.cs. I like to start my typed HTTP clients with the prefix HTTP, so therefore, once I look for the file, I can just type in HTTP, and there we go, HTTP weather client, etc. I like to look for my files this way, and therefore some conventions are needed. But this can also be just a matter of taste. You decide what you do and how you call this thing. And now that the file is open, I just go into my documentation that you also find in the description, of course, and just copy this code right here. It's not too complicated. It's really just the typed HTTP client with the endpoint URL to the weather forecast. This is an endpoint we have inside the API we just created. I mean, we can look for this right here, and we find backend API program, etc. There we go, there's the endpoint. So this is just part of the default template, and this HTTP client is pointing to this. And then we have here, we have one method, this is the get method, and it's doing an HTTP request against this endpoint URL from here. And we do a send async, nothing too crazy right here, etc., etc. One thing that might be worth mentioning is the beauty for me in typed HTTP clients is when I go to the weather forecast endpoint, then you see it's just a regular HTTP get endpoint, and it's doing nothing crazy. We have no, I think it was require authorization. We don't have this method here in the pipe. There is no authorization. If I wanted to have authorization in my HTTP client, I wouldn't need to touch this. Since I have a typed HTTP client, I can also just add more middleware for the authentication towards this. So this might be a little bit more of an advanced C# concept. We're not going to use this here since we're talking more about the Blazor infrastructure stuff. But yeah, the way to do this and to extend this HTTP client is with the HTTP middleware classes. And now we want to use this HTTP client, and therefore we're going to go to the shared UI imports Razor and add a new using statement using Blazor Demo front end shared infrastructure. And more than that, we need to have the typed HTTP clients, right? From the namespace from the typed HTTP client, which is this one, okay? So now we have this, and we can actually use the HTTP client in one of our Blazor components from the shared UI library. And in order to do so, I go to the custom layout razor, into the root directory of this thing, and create a new file that is called weather API component razor. Very creative, I know. I open this file, I go back into my documentation, and again, just copy the code right here. Nothing too crazy happening right here. The important part is we have the HTTP weather client injected. And once this component is initialized, we fill our little response property here with the result from the HTTP GET from this client. Nothing too crazy. Save this one. And then, of course, I like to use this component actually in the custom layout. And I like to use this above the body, and I go and I say weather API component was recognized already perfectly. And the very last thing that needs to happen now is, since we have dependency injection right here, right, this one, we need to make sure that this class is actually part of the dependency injection container. So there we go for the program CS from the interactive server, and we say here that we'd like to have our dependency injection for the HTTP client. And I like to do this right here, and since I'm super lazy, I go back to my documentation, I copy these files right here, paste them here. And as you see, we have the HTTP weather client right here, and we can just say use this one via the LSP. A little bit of formatting right here. Looks fine to me. I just built the project again. So that looks fine as well. All good so far. And now we can go for the test of that thing. And to test that thing, for the simplicity of the demo, I use a very simple line that goes .NET Run project backend API, and afterwards we're going to do .NET Watch of the interactive server. What .NET Watch is doing is going to watch the files that have been changed within that directory and then update the interactive server while it's still running. So very convenient. We're going to do this right now. And then you see right away that something went wrong, and we go boom, boom, boom. That is for the front-end interactive server. Something is not right, and I know already what's not right when I go into the code. nvim program CS. Then you see, because I just copied that one, there is localhost port your API port. So I have to delete this one right here, and then go back and maybe say .NET again, just API to find out what the port is right here. It says failed, whatever, never mind, it's going to be fixed in a second anyways. It's going to take this port 5096, paste this one right here, close nvim again, go back, retry. And as you've seen, still it says address already in use. It doesn't really matter. We didn't change the API anyways. It can be already, the service is still running. It can be in use. We don't care because our Blazor server is updated and is running, and that's fine. And then I go and I say, I just opened this website right here. And you see that it's working. We have this one right here. This component demonstrates showing data. This is the data from our API. But when I make this window a little bit smaller, then you see here's the address bar. And everything works fine as long as we're using the component within our custom layout. But as you see, as I go back to my nvim and go to this exact component, where the API component, there we go, you see it's not only a component, it's also a page. It is a page, and it goes by weather API. And when I try to browse this thing, it says not found. Sorry, the content you're looking for does not exist, but it doesn't really make sense, right? Because obviously, at the root path, when we use the component inside another component and not by route, everything works fine. So why is that? First, we're going to fix this thing, and the way to do this is we go into a program CS, again, from the interactive server, program CS, and we scroll down. Now we look for the map. So we go map razor components. And we already have the map interactive server render mode, whatever. And the way to fix the 404 error from before, we're going to add a new method right here that goes by add additional assemblies. We go by type of, boom, 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 and we call it weather Weather, does it have? No, I'm too lazy. Copy this one. Close this one, go back. Boom, boom, boom. And then the assembly of that thing. And the LSP doesn't recognize it. I don't know why. Anyways, we just need to pass in the using statement by using Blazor daemon front end shared infrastructure. No, excuse me, UI. And there we go. No LSP errors anymore, and I can do a .NET build, and it shall be good. And what this thing is doing, the add additional assemblies, a little bit of formatting would be nice. What this thing is doing is, it tells our Blazor Server project, when you use an external assembly, not only look for the Blazor components, but also look for routable Blazor components. This one is routable, has a page. And since we didn't do this before, it couldn't find anything when it was trying to go for that route. So now, since we have this in place, I can just go again, and I say .NET run, boom. And go back to the website again. A little bit. There's the weather API. Before it said not found. I hit F5, and boom, there we go. And you see this twice because you get it once from the route, and you get it the other time from the custom layout, right? Remember, custom layout Razor. We put it here as well. Weather API component. And that is why you see it twice. So I do believe this does the trick for today. We put a web API in place. We have our Blazor server communicate with that web API, and also the typed HTTP client to communicate with this web API is in a separate infrastructure project, so we can then later use it just as well from other Blazor hosting models like WASM or PWA, stuff like that. So in the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to Dockerize everything so we can host it on some Linux server somewhere in the cloud and actually access it as a real service. So I'm out. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.